There we go. What is going on, guys? It is episode 146 of the Wrestle Red podcast, the 3-year anniversary special. Kickoff of, the end of WrestleMania weekend with, oh, that'd be her. Oh, there we go. With Raw After Mania. And thanks again. Shout out to Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. Thank you guys for your support for the past 3 years. It's been an amazing journey as far as doing this podcast, being able to connect with people, mainly about, of course, things that we all love to do. I've been a lover of wrestling for a very long time. And so, interacting and meeting people who also share your passion for wrestling, it's always good to come with a community of people who like the same things that you like. As we all see on Twitter, um, on social media in general, like there are a lot of people who aren't appreciative, who like really either are so negative, or they feel as though like it's an issue because we like things we like. It's a great time now to be a wrestling fan. It's a great time to be a nerd as well, with Marvel's popularity and the Batman coming out, and comics and shows that's coming out of comics that are a lot more mainstream. It's an amazing time to be a fan, period. Um, but getting into the review of WrestleMania and the review of Raw After Mania as well. Overall, WrestleMania was, and I said it, was stupendous. They kept telling us it's going to be stupendous. It was actually stupendous. The build to this WrestleMania, it didn't really feel like it didn't feel like WrestleMania season at all. It just felt like it was just another pay-per-view to them. But I'm very happy that we got a very good show. Raw After Mania is not the same anymore. Normally it's very crazy. Some people don't like Raw After Mania, but at least it's just one show where all the internationals, the hot Mania crowd comes in and they just have all the fun that they want. With the chants and stuff like that, and you really have to be able to roll with it. It's not a usual crowd that we see every Raw and SmackDown, so it's a lot of fun. This year we really didn't get it. I have my reasons as to why we didn't really get that Raw After Mania crowd. Um, they had what they said, 77,000 people at WrestleMania, and it felt like the booking of Raw and then the crowd, it really didn't make Raw After Mania feel special at all. Um, but let's get into night one first off. um Took place in Dallas. Night one, I don't know who that was that sung America the Beautiful. I'm not I listen to country from time to time, but I don't know who that was who was singing. Whoever that second person was that was trying to harmonize with the first person is just like, y'all need to take a step back and like redo that whole performance, because that was horrible. I rather had Lillian Garcia sing America the Beautiful from now on. Um, the New Day Sheamus match was cut due to timing, but they were doing a bunch of video package. I think had they cut the video packages that they kept showing, especially for night two, we probably could have got the match in night one. It landed on night two, luckily for them. Um, but night one, my predictions were pretty much really good, except for I believe except for one match. Um, but first off, the first two matches wasn't really. It still felt like we were coming off of a Raw or a SmackDown. it didn't really feel like WrestleMania worthy. With the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, the Usos did retain. Boo's knee gave out when he was trying to suplex one Uso. The other Uso had jumped on him. His knee gave out, unfortunately for him. And I really hope he gets a full recovery. I know it's I forgot what it was that tore, but it will require surgery. So I hope he has a very speedy recovery. I hope this doesn't hurt Shinsuke Nakamura. The outfit choice, I was like, okay, until I realized that their outfits was brought to you by Hard Mike's Lemonade. I've drunk that. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not. Certain flavors taste good. But yeah, I didn't even realize that their outfits was due to a promotion until I think until night 2 when it was mentioned about it, or when I was watching someone's reaction or something like that, and they mentioned it, and I was like, "Really?" Like, first it was the car commercial, now it's Mike's Hard Lemonade, but I'm like, "Okay, well, at least Shinsuke Nakamura is getting used for something." But yeah, the match felt short because of the injury with Rick Boogs. And I think I had Rick Boogs and Nakamura winning this. Oh no, I don't think I did. I think I actually had the Usos retaining here. But yeah, it felt like a short match. The next match with Corbin and Drew, um, it was fine. It was a fine match. Like, it really didn't give me anything special as far as WrestleMania. A lot of people were a bit upset about this match, especially the fact that Finn Balor wasn't on the card at all, seeing as though he is a champion along with Ricochet. And I come to realize this, especially with the emergence of AEW. Sometimes with WWE, you just can't use logic. If you try to use logic, you're going to get upset. I've seen Twitter I've seen videos popping up on Twitter. People were very upset at some things that's been happening in wrestling, but it's very hard not to get upset with. I get upset when they don't use people who has potential as far as wrestling concern. Like Finn Balor, definitely can get if you could book Finn Balor strong enough to where as though he can really get over with the crowd. And there's a few times he gets over with the crowd. Same thing with Ricochet as well. But I come to realize is that WWE is all about characters and storylines. Finn Balor, while he is an awesome wrestler, as far as like his character and storyline, he's Finn Balor. Whereas though with Corbin, we've seen him be happy Corbin, sad Corbin, King Corbin. He's really good at playing whatever character that's given to him. And I feel like that's why he gets the time that he does on WWE versus someone like Finn Balor and Ricochet. Um, there was a point where sad Corbin, he's really good because there was a point that you felt like you wanted to cheer for sad Corbin. Then of course he got happy, and then there's Madcap Moss. Um, I didn't realize this was the first time someone has kicked out of End of Days until it was mentioned. Um, until it was mentioned. Until it was mentioned a little later. Not Happy Corbin. Drew McIntyre had retained from here. Then there was the sword. The sword. I get it. I do get it, but whenever you bring props to the ring, there is like this attention to use it. And while you can't technically use the sword because that is attempted murder, we've seen it used here. Yeah, we do all miss Broke Corbin. Broke Corbin, he was relatable. Like, he was broke, and we all hit rock bottom from time to time in life. When the day before payday, you look at your account, it's laughing at you. You trying to get some lunch, everything costing like $40, and you end up having to go to McDonald's and order off the dollar menu. Like, we all been there. That's probably why Sad Corbin really connected with a lot of people, because we was like, you know what, I feel you. When you got to ask someone for $20, you know, you really hit it when you have to ask for $20. You're like, hey, let me just. I get paid on Thursday. You see the way that my savings account, my checking account is hooked up. Type of situation. But at the end of Drew McIntyre and and Happy Corbin, we had Madcap Moss who jumped up on the apron, and Drew had his sword out, and then you could clearly see them setting it up because you see that Madcap goes like ready, and then Drew swings the sword. Madcap Moss jumped down, and then he cut the first two ropes, and then there was a sound effect. I was like, I watched a lot of TV. I watched a lot of Game of Thrones. I have yet to hear a boom sound whenever a sword hit something. And I was very curious how they were able to do that. He was able, like, I don't know if that was an actual sword that he used that cut the ropes. 'Cause the ropes cut pretty easily because they used the ropes to run and everything. So that was pretty interesting. But then I was like, wait a minute, dude, you just made us all witnesses to attempted murder. Like, I don't answer I don't answer, phone calls that has just numbers on it as is. Now you're gonna have the FBI calling all of us. Did you watch? Where were you around 8 o'clock on Saturday, April 2nd? I was at home. Did you watch something? Maybe. Okay. I'm not a snitch, but Drew McIntyre done made us all witnesses to attempted murder. And people still cheering for him to this day. Next up was the Miz and Logan Paul versus the Mysterios. Like I said on my predictions, whenever there's a celebrity, the celebrity is going to win. So I fully expected the Miz and Logan Paul to win. Interesting choice of gear for Logan Paul. If you didn't like Logan Paul before, you definitely don't like him after this match. First of all, the bastard with the most rare Pokemon card he was wearing as a necklace, and it was $6 million, they kept saying. And I was like, yo, he is so lucky he is in Dallas, Texas, versus somewhere like New York or Philly. If he was in Philly, he wouldn't have not made it out. Okay. The moment that he gave the necklace off to someone, yeah, he it wouldn't have made out. And if it did made out, because the way that Philly is right now, he would have got carjacked and then would have took the damn Pokemon card anyway. But yeah, I was like, that's a lot of balls to be wearing $6 million around your neck, especially from what we've been seeing of the crazy fans that jump over the barricade, try to get into the match type of situation. Um, and then with the Mysterios, very cool of Dominik dressing like his dad, dressing like his dad, Eddie Guerrero, when he was in Los Gringos Locals. Um, During the match was good. I expected Logan Paul to do well because I expected Logan Paul to do well. He really did well as far as the move set that he was doing. He he's really good at being a heel. He's really good at making people hate him. But he did the Three Amigos, of course. I was like, you bastard. Then he got on the top rope and started doing the Eddie shoulder shake. And it was a great finish though. The Pokemon card was a nice touch for Logan Paul. It was. It was. It really went right along with his character as far as just showing off, it was like Floyd Mayweather, like cuz Floyd Mayweather loves to show off how much money he has, how much cash he has. So Logan Paul, doing the Pokemon card just to piss off people a lot more is something. I love the finish. It was a great finish with the double 619s, and then they did the frog splash. But in the end, Logan Paul and The Miz won, and then The Miz turned on Logan Paul, which I don't know, don't really make any sense. And they didn't really address it on Raw after either. So it's like I don't know why. It wasn't even like it wasn't even like Logan Paul was getting, more attention than The Miz during the match. It wasn't like, he kept tagging himself in because they was doing really well as a tag team. So it really didn't kind of make any sense for him to turn, but I guess they had to do it just, to finish off the tag team of Logan Paul and The Miz. That's my guess with it. Then after that, we had Stephanie McMahon introduce Gable Stevenson, which I thought was kind of weird. Like, I get it. I get they're trying to make him like the next big thing. But he's still like far away because the last time they introduced him, I think it was him and the other girl from the Olympics. She was more excited than he was. I definitely remember that. Um, he didn't really seem like that excited, like, yeah, type of situation. But I feel as though I still feel like it's still so early to, like, put attention to him. It's gonna be like Veer of him, like, he's coming, because 'cause I'm like, he still has to finish college, and then on top of that, he is still training. So I don't know how close he is as far as his training to where as though he's ready to get into the ring. Because it's just gonna be like what happened at Raw after Mania with, Elias, Ezekiel, Eric, whatever his name was. Whereas though it's like, who's this guy again? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the Olympic guy. So I'm hoping that if I'm hoping he's good, first of all. I'm hoping he's good, that whatever they give to him kind of like portrays well on the main roster. Cause like I said, it's about character and storyline. We see what happened with Chad Gable. Chad Gable, as good as he is as a wrestler, they really didn't do much with him until he got the character. Um, well, unfortunately, Shorty G, but who he is now with the sheesh type of situation. Um, so I'm hoping that maybe he will be able to, whatever character that they give to him, that will definitely work. Unless they're gonna switch it up and just have him, like even if they have him as like Kurt Angle was really good as far as being character and promo. So it's gonna be some big shoes to fill for Gable Stevenson. After that was Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. It was a great video package. I love WWE's video packages, the choice of songs and everything like that they do with it. I absolutely love it. Becky with the Marvel intro. I know a lot of people was like, no, that's the Then Now Forever, which it wasn't. Because if you actually looked at the actual start of the video that they did for that intro, it's exactly like Marvel, where it's like shot, shot, shot type of situation, and then you see the words and stuff like that. Very Marvel. She came out in the van. I don't even know what type of car it was. Um, she looked good with the new haircut and the outfit. Like it gave me like Lady Gaga, David Bowie type of vibes with her eye makeup and the outfit. Then came Bianca Belair, which was my favorite WrestleMania entrance of the weekend. And I would say maybe top 5 of my entrances of all time. I'm a big sucker for marching bands, especially the HBCU ones where, they're jamming it out. Um, I wish that they would release that remix of that College of the Marching Band along with her theme. I think it was the college that she went to. I know it was a Texas college, and I know she went to a Texas college, I believe. But I think it was the same college that she went with, but it was a really good entrance. I always love and then she had the special gear too, which I heard was actually designed by a fan who designed it for her, like, maybe 2 years ago or something like that, but I thought that was pretty cool. Um, I would have to say match of the night for them. This was a really good match. First of all, the start where they gave us that SummerSlam tease where, there was a reversal, 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 and then Becky got the manhandle slam, and Bianca kicked out like 0.0000 second away from 3, which was a very good touch to it. They went back and forth throughout the match and stuff. Then came the spot where I don't know what Becky was going for. I thought she was going for like not really a meteora, but I don't know. I thought she was going for like, a flip and then kind of like land into Bianca, but her foot, as we saw, like hit her square in the face. Um, they love to and they replayed that a couple of times too for her. You can see that her eye was like getting swollen. during the match, especially towards the end of the match. Um, Bianca, of course, showing us what she could do, the 450 from the second rope. Um, and I loved the finish too, where Becky was trying to go for, I think it was the manhandle slam, and Bianca jumped on the second rope and did a backflip and then got Becky with the kiss of death. But I'm very happy for Bianca. She is now the Raw Women's Champion. Definitely deserve it. She is great as a babyface, and I felt that way even when she was in NXT. Like she has the star power. Because and I but I felt though she was better as a babyface than a heel. When she was heel, it's just something that wasn't connecting with her. But now that she's a baby face, maybe it's the fact that she's able more to relate to Bianca Belair as a baby face because of her story and things like that. But I can't wait to see what the next steps are. I mean, it felt they kind of stumbled going into Raw after Mania. They kind of stumbled because maybe there's like such high expectations for Raw after Mania. I assumed that they were going to introduce who's going to, come in next in line, but they really didn't do much for her. I'm very happy at the way that they build up Bianca Belair. I wish that they can book women in the WWE women's division the same way too. Whereas though, even though Bianca had lost a few times to Becky during the past couple of months, like she still looked good at the end, and even Becky looked good, with a loss as well. I'll give WWE Creative its due for telling a great story about 26 seconds and making Bianca a bigger star. Really, it is. And you know, a lot of us was mad at SummerSlam when Bianca got beat at 26 seconds, but I'm glad that they, definitely let us know like they didn't forget about it and that that was just a piece of the story for a long story. I'm fine, and you know what? I'm fine with losses like that as long as it gets addressed and that they can come back and be like, okay, remember when you got mad about this? Here's the payoff for it. Unlike what we saw with Kofi Kingston and things like that of people who get beat, you know, so quickly and it just doesn't get addressed at all. So I'm very happy that that got addressed and we had a payoff to it. The wait and see what happens type of thinking actually paid off for this storyline. But I hope that, they look at what has happened with Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch and apply it with a lot of the women on the division because I will say they have the most talented women's division in sports entertainment and pro wrestling, with all the wrestling companies. It's just the booking that makes their division come off as weak, because they concentrate so much on a few women, just like they do with the men's division, that everyone else feels like mid card. So that when they try to build someone up, like we saw with Liv Morgan, it doesn't like there's the hope there, but it doesn't make sense because like you've been booking someone so weak for so long that like you're suddenly trying to book them strong real quick and it doesn't really make sense. But definitely it felt this was the I know a lot of people was talking about Austin's match, but this felt like match of the night for me as well. Now on to Seth Rollins and his mystery opponent. And I will say, I know that Cody signed, and I know that Cody was coming. I assumed that he may have been coming on Monday Night Raw. Once Vince got involved and said it's going to be a person of his choosing, I was like, all right, so it's going to be Shane McMahon or Undertaker, seeing as though his speech, he said never say never. I didn't expect for Vince's choosing to be Cody Rhodes. And then I was very curious of how Cody is going to be. Are we getting AEW Cody? Are we getting Stardust like a lot of people was fearing? Are we getting dashing Cody Rhodes? Are we getting something else? And so I uploaded my reaction onto YouTube. I was in complete shock. First of all, I was in complete shock that we got the adrenaline in my soul. I didn't expect them to let him use his theme. And then he got the middle entrance on top of that. Like, the only time they use that middle entrance is for The Undertaker. They use it for they'll use the jump up thing for Rey Mysterio, which we saw. I forgot to mention that was a really cool touch with with him and Dominik doing the was it slingshot? I forgot the actual name of the elevator that shoots you up. That was a really nice touch. But Cody Rhodes got the special middle entrance, and they did it again at Raw, even though you can like see him like looking like he's stuck in quicksand. And then he was wearing the same outfit. Like, they literally took AEW Cody and put him in WWE, which is the craziest thing to me, because even when AJ Styles debuted it in WWE, they changed up his music. They always either change up music, name, gear, moveset, whatever. They took, and they even with Cody, they even put his dog on his shirt. And I was like, this is fucking crazy that we literally got AEW Cody intact, like nothing has changed. Like, he was doing the same move sets and everything from AEW. He cut very similar babyface promo like he would cut in AEW. So that was the craziest thing to me. Um, he did I cracked up when he did the cartwheel and then the star hand movement, whatever. Um, Seth Rollins telling Cody, "Welcome to the big leagues." But I was just in like complete shock that we got nothing. They didn't change anything. And he even mentioned, I think it was after the match interview, he mentioned that someone told Vince to just, don't change anything, let him come in as this. And I mentioned, like, I figured Cody would be booked well for WrestleMania. I know he's gonna be booked well up to SummerSlam, but I'm very curious at, whether it's 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, 2 years from now, once once it kind of like not really wear off, but once things are settled, I should say, with Cody, what is the booking then? Because we see what happened with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was the internet darling. He was, got the big pop at the Royal Rumble, got his WrestleMania moment, even though he wasn't in front of fans. He was the pandemic champion and everything. And then the next year after that, he loses his title. I think he lost. That was to Bobby Lashley, I think, at Mania 37. And then the following Mania, he's in a program with Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss with the sword. So I'm very curious as to what is the truth. If they had to tell Vince to keep him intact, that means Vince had an idea of what he wanted to do with Cody, and that's what I'm interested in knowing. Um, I'm also very glad that they didn't turn this into WWE AEW like we saw with Sting and Triple H and have Seth win off of that. Um, I thought Cody was teasing the pedigree. I mean, people who don't really watch AEW or watch the Indies kind of thought it was the pedigree. I forgot it. I forgot what move it was that he actually did. But people thought he was going to do the pedigree. But I was just like I said, I was just very shocked about the fact that they kept him intact. I mean, they had all right. I had to fix my stream because I don't know what was going on. It was saying that my connection wasn't good. I don't know why my connection went out. I'm connected to I have good internet first off, and it was all connected. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. So I'm back. And let me give it a little bit. Look like I'm all good. Um, I don't know where the connection cut off, but I was talking about Cody. So I'm just gonna rewind back and talk about what it was that I was talking about. Now I can see like being upset about the situation with Cody, but I saw people like F Cody and all this other stuff, and it's like that is uncalled for. Like, come on, people. It's wrestling. Once you start getting talking about people's families and stuff like that, um that's something that's no bueno. No bueno. So I'm gonna rewind back as far as with Cody. Um, I was shocked that they kept AEW Cody intact, that they didn't change anything about him, but yet when like even when AJ Styles came over to WWE, they changed up his music at least. The fact that we got and I know that no AEW doesn't own Cody's music, obviously, but normally WWE puts their stamp on things. They'll either tell you your name is now Gunther, your name is Butch. We're gonna change your music. We're gonna change your gear type of situation. And so the fact that they didn't do this with Cody, um, is just very interesting to me. And I'm very interested because Cody did mention that Vince was told to keep Cody like all intact. And I'm very interested to see like what it was that Vince was actually thinking about. Let me bring my there we go. I was very interested to see what it was that Vince was thinking about as far as with Cody. The match was pretty good. Cody was teasing the pedigree and stuff like that. I kind of figured, if it was Cody, that Cody would win. I figured no matter who the special opponent would win. But I was just shocked that once Vince got involved with the storyline and he said it was a person of his choosing, that his person was actually Cody Rhodes. I'm happy that they didn't make this into AEW versus WWE like we saw with Sting and Triple H. And that it was basically a straight up match. Um, and so my thing is, I know I'm still processing Cody and WWE too. Like, I at least thought that they would like change something about him. The fact that he got the theme, they put his dog on the t-shirt. He is using the middle entrance still. That WWE allow him to use a middle entrance. Normally that is done for the Undertaker, or it what like we saw earlier that night, something like that for Rey Mysterio. But the fact that they're giving and I thought it was like a WrestleMania type of situation until Raw after Mania, where he got the middle entrance again. I was like, what the hell is going on? I think Vince is like getting senile or something. Like, I didn't realize that you were able to give special permissions. But I feel like Cody's gonna be booked. I knew Cody was gonna be booked nice for WrestleMania, and I figured he'll be booked nice up to SummerSlam. But I'm very interested what's gonna happen after SummerSlam, like how he's gonna be booked. If he is booked big like Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, Roman Reigns, I am going to be completely shocked. Um, Now the thing I said, Vince is weird in 2022. He is very weird in 2022. I don't know what's going on with him. He's probably on this YOLO stage or something like that. Um, now the issue that I have, and shout out to Clark Street Wrestling Podcast and Circle Debate. You guys gave me links to the interviews for Cody because I was very interested to know the reason why he came back and like why did you leave AEW to come to WWE? Like, is it money? Is it because you wanted more control with AEW than you initially was getting? And so I listened to it and I listened to the interview after he gave. After the match, he mentioned after the match that he didn't want to do this for his dad or he wanted to do it for his family, but he wanted to do it for himself. And he wanted to go. I listened to the media scrum afterwards. He wanted to be in the big leagues and he wanted to work among the best. And then of course the promo that he cut, the very passionate promo. he cut after at Raw, where he mentioned he wanted to win the belt that his dad never got, which slightly confused me because I was like, you just said this is about you and not about your dad. But I'm guessing this is booking decision to make it about your dad. My thing is, now I could take that at face value and everything. My thing is there's a piece of the story missing. Like I'm not understanding. Thank you, Circle Debate. Shout out to you guys. I was on the latest episode yesterday to do the review for WrestleMania, so definitely check them out as well. Um, Now, I heard what Cody said, and I feel like there's a piece of the story missing. Like there is something not being said because I cannot wrap my mind about where did this switch happen for the past 6 years. Cody has been nothing but look what they did to me. Look what they did to my dad. Look what they did to my family. I'm going to make it on my own. I'm the best outside WWE and things like that. Created a company of your pro wrestling company. We're the best company in the world and stuff like that. Even with his I rewatched his last promo that he gave in AEW when he was going up against Sami Guevara with the ladder match, and he even was taking shots at WWE at that point. I want to know where did the switch happen? Are you switching because you couldn't get what you wanted in AEW, or is this truly like you really want to, finish out finish your career in WWE? That's what I'm so confused about. I can take, other people who jumped from AEW to WWE, but the biggest person that created this anti WWE mindset in AEW was Cody with the breaking of the throne and all the episodes of being the elite. He took shots Cody's the one who's been in WWE for the longest, and I'm not understanding as to why he decided to come back. Like that's the piece of the story that I'm not understanding. Why? Like, what's the real reason why you came back? Um, it's saying that I'm having. Okay, looks like I'm back. Okay. It's why did you really decide to come back to WWE? And why did you leave what you left in AEW? Like he was very anti WWE. And he even said during the media scrum how his favorite wrestler was Triple H. And I'm like, if you didn't know, like you really couldn't tell because Triple H was the one he tacked the most as far as the things he did and the things that he said. Even when and he didn't even like when people said he was turning into the Triple H of AEW, and that's when he forced himself to give that stipulation that he'll never go after the title. But I'm just very curious as to what was the where was the mind switch? And maybe it was like he mentioned that he purposely kept quiet between when he left AEW to now. But I'm very like I feel as though he shouldn't have kept quiet because he really left a lot of people like feeling left behind because he created this anti-WWE movement in AEW with we're pro wrestling, not sports entertainment, just to go right back to them. I believe he wants to use WWE marketing machine for the Cody Rhodes brand to open up the doors. I get that. I get that, because it seems like he's gonna keep the, Go Big show, and I don't know what's gonna happen with his, reality show as well. But it's just like if he didn't say as much as he said over the past 6 years about WWE, especially the past 3 years with AEW, I would believe that, yeah, you're back because you have unfinished business. WWE is able to give you what you want. Um, but he was like, you're at the head. You were the head. You were the president of the anti WWE club. And like, yeah, Tony, take his shots, stuff like that. But you was the one that was there the longest, besides Dustin. Dustin was there longer than Cody. Dustin straight up said, "Look, I am not going back. I am not going back. I know what it is." But I'm just very curious as to like I feel like there's a piece of the story that is not being said by people as to the reason why he's not coming back. Now, really to go deeper into it, I feel as though Cody Rhodes fits WWE a lot more than AEW, as we saw with what has happened with his reactions to AEW and his reactions to WWE. I feel as though like Cody was popular with AEW because we were just coming off of WWE. He's very good as a babyface. He's very good at telling stories. And I think he couldn't understand what happened that made people boo him. What happened was AEW has evolved and he didn't evolve along with it. AEW is pro wrestling, whereas though you look more towards what happens in the ring as far as wrestling skills and stuff like that versus you do with characters and stories. Um oh, thank you so much. The Pro Wrestling Podcast just described. Thank you so much, yo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um I feel as though Cody Rhodes is sports entertainment. Cody Rhodes is not pro wrestling. Um, and what happened was Cody was completely fine in the beginning because we didn't get what we have now. We have people like CM Punk, we have John Moxley, we have Bryan Danielson, we have more members of the elite here. We have people coming from New Japan who is showing us like different styles of wrestling that a lot of people haven't seen in a while or that haven't been seen brought to mainstream TV. And because of that, people are like, I like this. Wow, Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson. I like that. Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega. I like that. I like what's going on here. And so then you look back at Cody, who's still trying to cut the same. I'm a babyface. You need to cheer for me because I'm a babyface. That doesn't work that doesn't work in the indies really, because you cheer for who you like, you boo for who you don't really like fans don't cheer for you just because you're the baby face. They cheer for you because there is connection to you, there's connection to the story, there's a connection to what's going on in the ring. And I don't think Cody was able to really accept that because normally, it with a lot of other wrestlers, once they got booed, they'll switch it. They'll switch it and they'll be like heel type of situation. I felt as though if Cody was to turn heel or turn into the delusional baby face, it would have been a lot more accepting. Like we probably wouldn't have went through what we went through. But the fact that especially him and Brandy, they wanted to do this whole I'm a baby face, you need to cheer for me because I'm a baby face. You know what? And just so we can get cheered, let's go against the guy who gets booed the most, which was Dan Lambert, and it didn't work out at all. And I think that really threw them for a loop because especially when Brandy was trying to cut a promo and they were sitting there chanting shut the fuck up. That's probably was the tipping point for them. But with Cody, unless they book him as heel, he'll get cheered because he's a babyface. Cody Rhodes works perfectly in WWE. He does because if he's a babyface, he'll get cheered as a babyface. He can cut, babyface promos and they'll get cheered and stuff like that. Um, Even if he goes to a place like Chicago or New York or Philly, all WWE's going to do is switch up the audio. What they're doing, let me switch up the audio to make it seem like they're cheering. So he works perfectly for WWE. And maybe that was the switch, and maybe that was what clicked to Cody to make him realize, like, you know what, I fit more for WWE than I do for AEW. But I really would like to know what is the actual story behind Cody. Like, give me the behind the music type of situation, you know, once this is all over and he talks to Renee or something like that and we get like the full story about it. Maybe one day dark side of the ring type of situation. But yeah, I feel like there's more to the story than what we're being told. But going back to the match was fine. It was I wanted to know like where do we go from here? We After he cut the very passionate promo, Seth Rollins came out, shook his hand, which I really didn't expect. I thought Seth Rollins was going to like knock him out or something. But of course, the connection with Dusty and things like that, they shook hands. And now it seems like he's going after the title, which I don't know. I cannot wrap my head around him defeating Roman Reigns for the title. I can't. I can't. Only because Roman Reigns had went through all of SmackDown and now he has both titles. I'm guessing he's going to go through all of Raw as well. And it's like, so you mean to tell me the guy who's going to take down Roman Reigns is the guy with the ugly neck tattoo that that is now in AR. So, get ready to see it all over the place. I can't wrap my head around it. But yeah, I'll get more into the title picture in a little bit. Next up was Ronda versus Charlotte Flair. So there was a rumor. There was a rumor going out during WrestleMania that allegedly Ronda had walked out because she found out not only was not closing the show, but she was losing as well. She said that it wasn't true. But then you get to this match and this gave me flashbacks of Mania 35 where she didn't like the fact that she was getting booed, that the fans preferred Becky over her. Um and I felt the same way once we got to this match at Mania 38. It felt like it wasn't good at all. Um, I'm very happy that this was not the main event, and I didn't want this to be the main event from the get go. I kind of figured that it was going to be main event because that's what they wanted. If you didn't check out Becky Lynch's interview, I forgot the guy's name, but it was an interview that she gave, and she was asked about the fact that her match was not the main event and not considered main event, but it's Charlotte versus Ronda. And she basically said, "You know what? It doesn't matter who's main event because my match is going to be match of the night anyway." She said, "Our story is a lot better than theirs. The fact that it's her versus Bianca, the two women who won the only two women's main event matches in WrestleMania history, the two winners of it, and they're not getting main event. The two losers are." And she's like, our story is a lot better. We're going to be a lot better in the ring." And it's the truth, and we saw it here. A lot of ankle locks, a lot of arm bars from Ronda as well. I mean, Charlotte kept calling her a one-trick pony, and we kind of saw not really that she was a one-trick pony, but it was a lot of submissions. It was a lot of submissions, wasn't really a lot more wrestling. I remember when she was in the tag team match, her and Kurt Angle, and a lot of people were surprised at how she was in the ring, and it felt like she kind of regressed here. Like it was more submissions and stuff like that versus like, oh my god type of situation. Like Pat McAfee put on a better match in the ring than Ronda Rousey. And Ronda Rousey was she? I think Ronda Rousey was, kind of involved in WWE a lot long. Yeah, she was involved in WWE a lot longer than Pat McAfee. I think Pat McAfee started in 2017, 2018, I think it was, with Adam Cole and NXT. And I forgot which Mania she was teamed up with Kurt Angle, but I'm very sure it was a lot. Yeah, what was sloppy, the timing was off. It was very sloppy. I hate sloppy matches. I hate sloppy matches and the things get a bit choppy and stuff like that. It messes up the flow of the match. Like you start like tuning out with the match. And it felt like they called an audible here cuz I'm guessing like Ronda, I don't know if Ronda like really thought she was going to win or something. Um it felt like she didn't put her all into this match. That's why it really wasn't good. It felt like she didn't put her all into this match, and it felt like Charlotte was trying to carry the match, and Ronda, wasn't really having it. So I'm very interested to see if we're going to see Ronda. I think she signed a year deal, so I'm very interested to see what is going to happen with Ronda. I guess we have to wait for SmackDown to see about that if she's going to try to go after the title again or not. But the finish was like boots to the face, cover 1, 2, 3, and that was it. And I was like, wow, that was very underwhelming, especially for as much time that they put into that match. It was very underwhelming, and I'm very happy that was not main event because that would have left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. Versus the how we walked away with the next segment, which a lot of people was a little bit not too sure of because it was a promo show that was closing the show, and that was the KO show with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Um, Once Stone Cold came out and I saw them Forrest Gump knee braces, I was like, "Ah, he's about to wrestle a match." But I thought it was going to be like The Undertaker versus John Cena, where it was like quick 2-minute match. We got what we got and call it a day. Instead, this turned out to a full out, no holds bar match. They were out in the crowd and stuff like that. Um, I've never been scared of Stone Cold taking a bump because he took a suplex a couple of times to the concrete and stuff like that. And I'm like, can someone tell Stone Cold, like, you have a neck injury? Like, you can't really be taking these bumps like that. Um, it was a lot of drinking. It was a lot of drinking. It felt like the more drunk that Stone Cold got, the more he attacked on Kevin Owens. The finish was kind of funny. It is what it is. I feel as though KO can definitely survive off of this. If anybody was upset of how the way that he lost, hit the chair with the rope, hit himself in the head, took the stunner, 1, 2, 3, and Stone Cold wins. Like, can we give some props for Kevin Owens? Like, he main evented WrestleMania and fought Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin came out of retirement to fight him. As many times as we wanted Stone Cold to come out of retirement, him versus CM Punk is the biggest catastrophe that we never got to see that match. But he comes out of retirement to face Kevin Owens. Not only did he didn't fight him for like, do a quick stunner and stuff like that. Like, he gave Kevin Owens a full match, took a stunner, and even though he lost, I'm sure Kevin Owens will look back and say that was one of the greatest moments in his wrestling career. Like, he main evented WrestleMania. If you had told me, like, back when we thought he was leaving the company, everyone was saying how unhappy he looks and stuff like that, that a couple of months later he'll be main eventing WrestleMania with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Wrestling in 2022 is very weird. I don't know what timeline we happened. I know that we got, I know with Marvel, it was introducing the multiverse. I feel as though something happened because 2022 is just crazy. Maybe this is all happening because of 2020. Maybe because 2020 we all slowed down, stuff like that. Time realized, you know what, we need to all the craziness that should have happened in 2020, we need to condense it in. And that's what 2022 is. It's like all the craziness to like the 50th degree. With what Stone Cold Steve Austin and Kevin Owens. And then at the afterwards, Stone Cold was drinking. Then there was this guy that got into the ring. I legit thought it was a fan that hopped the barricade. I didn't even know Stone Cold had a brother. So when they said it was his brother, I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Wait, is he going to is he going to stun his brother?" Like, that would have been another mania moment as well. But yeah, but then afterwards there was cops outside and they arrested Kevin Owens. And I was like, first of all, for these cops, first of all, where were you guys a few hours ago when we witnessed an attempted murder with Drew McIntyre? But you guys gonna arrest Kevin Owens for what? Hitting himself in the chair or something? That part didn't make any sense to me. But having the night one end with Stone Cold Steve Austin, drinking beers and stuff like that, just having the time of his life. Um, Night one was definitely really good. Really good. I was sports entertained and it was stupendous. It really was. So let's go into night two. First of all, Triple H coming out. I was very happy for this that Triple H was able to get to kind of say goodbye to all the fans. He came out with, doing the water and stuff like that. Papa H comes out and says, as much as he would like to say, "This is NXT," he can't say it anymore because NXT 2.0. But he did introduce WrestleMania, left his boots in the ring. I would have wished that he would have been able to that they would have been able to do a little more with that. Um because it was like, hey, it's the start of WrestleMania, pyro, do 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 type of situation. And then like the camera cuts to the boots in the ring. I would have wished that maybe he said this is WrestleMania and then cut the promo so that when he left the boots in the ring, it would have felt more emotionally involved. Um, I don't know. I don't know if he I doubt that it's gonna be anything else until, the Hall of Fame, of course. Um, but yeah, I wish that we coulda got a little bit more with Triple H, but it was a really good moment, him hugging his daughters. I didn't realize how old they were. Jeez Louise, I thought they were kids still. But, it's just really sad because it's truly the end of an era, even though we got Stone Cold back, but it's truly the end of an era. Like all the people who we grew up watching and entertaining, Undertaker and Triple H and Shawn Michaels and stuff like that. Like that's it. But I'm very happy that Triple H is well. I'd rather for him to be able to catch his health scare and retire than to see what we have seen with countless of wrestlers and, having to see him trending for very bad reasons. So I'm happy that, the issue was caught and that he was able to get it corrected, and I hope that he is healthy and happy, and I'm sure he's still going to be involved in WWE still. I don't know, I highly doubt they're going to have him involved with NXT, but I don't know. I hope that he finds some type of medium, be happy. I don't know if he's just going to stay home with his daughters or if he's going to I forgot what his actual title is, but I'm hoping that he just finds happiness for where he's at in his retirement. And then they introduced Gable Stevenson again. In case you missed it in night one, here he is at night two ringside. We had the triple match between RK Bro, Alpha Academy, and the Street Profits. I actually thought Alpha Academy was going to win here and then have RKO break up. And I was hoping that it would be Riddle that would turn heel. I felt as though that would have been a very interesting situation. However, RK Bro had retained. Um, I kind of like Alpha Academy. I'm just happy that we don't have Shorty G and that Chad Gable is more closer to somewhat of a Kurt Angle character than him wearing basketball shorts, being called short all the time. Um, the finish to this match was amazing. Riddle with the springboard RKO. I don't think we ever seen the RKO done that way. Montez Ford selling it perfectly. And then we had Chad Gable who was going for a splash. I don't know what he was going for, and that turned into an RKO. This was a good tag team match, better than the SmackDown, unfortunately, but that ended due to an injury. All the teams looked good. Tag team wrestling is coming back again in WWE, even though it's not that many of them that really gets a great showing, I should say, like we see with the Viking Raiders. But this was a good match, a good start, a better start than what we saw with night one. Then we had Chad Gable came in and they were about to toast, and I didn't think anything was in Montez cup. It looks like water unless it's vodka, of course, but we won't say anything. Um but then they had waited for Gable Stevenson to come in. Gable Stevenson came in, and we had Gable versus Gable, which I don't know. I don't know if I want that to happen because I feel like it's going to be, loser loses their name type of situation. And it doesn't look good for Chad Gable if that's the situation. I mean, I don't want him to go back to Shorty G, but Chad, not a good look. Not a good look at all. And then of course we had the moment with Gable Stevenson and Randy and all them all drinking and toasting, fun WrestleMania moment. After that we had Omos versus Bobby Lashley. This match I was not appreciative of the build. I mentioned it on my previous episode that I wish that Bobby Lashley addressed the fact that he lost a belt that he didn't technically lose. It feels though we just like forget about it. He comes back, hey, I want to go against the guy who never got knocked down. Knocks him down on Raw, and now we have them going against each other. And it's like the only thing that could happen right here is for him to win the match, which really doesn't do much for Omos. It doesn't really do much for Lashley. But I wish that Lashley would have came in. We had Brock Lesnar cutting promo on Raw, He could have came to him and said, "Hey, you have the title that I never lost," kind of tease that could be a triple threat match, and then have Omos come out and, challenge um Lashley or Lesnar or something like that, and then you get the match from there. That would have made more sense. It would have addressed the fact that Lashley would, realize, hey, like, I know the plexiglass hit you in the head, but damn it, it didn't hit you in the head that hard. Whereas you have complete amnesia that you completely forgot you were in the title picture this whole time. But then you would still get the Omos versus Lashley thing. And then you could have, had it that, the, big guy versus big guy who's going to get knocked down type of situation. This match, it was okay. It was a typical big man match, the bump and meat like Biggie like to say. Um Lashley wins here. I think he suplexed. Yeah, he suplexed Omos. Um, the only thing I don't like about Omos is that they have him fighting like he's a big guy, and because of that, every time he wrestles, the matches feel so slow because he does real big move. The commentators pop for it. Oh my gosh, the suplex. Oh my gosh, he pushed him down, and then Omos sits there and taunt or say something to the crowd and stuff, walks around a little bit. So I don't know if it's like conditioning or something like that, or that's what they really want him to do because he's a big guy. But the matches feel like a lot slower. Not saying that he needs to like go around like he's like Ricochet or somebody like that, but at least have like the moves connect a little bit more quicker. Have him choke slam somebody, immediately pick them up and choke slam. Like even Warlow, you know, even though he does the spot where he does the power bomb 15 times, at least that's a little bit quicker so that there's not like it's like you're waiting for the car in front of you to go and the light is green, type of situation. But yeah, this match felt very slow. I felt as though they really didn't do much for either one of the guys. It was addressed at Raw after Mania, where MVP had turned on Bobby Lashley. Now he is teamed up with Omos, and now we're getting face Lashley, which I'm slightly concerned about because I liked heel Lashley because he was the character, he's the person that he should have been ever since he came back to the company. Like, almighty, I'm here to whip everyone's ass and kicks names. And I don't know, whenever they do face with some of these guys, it doesn't really work out. It turns into, I'm just happy to be here and I'm going to smile and I want you guys to cheer me. And this other person's beating me up, but you guys are going to cheer me. And I'm just so happy to be here. Not like I'm here to kick his ass. Like, you're not better than me type of situation. So I'll wait and see what's gonna happen. Maybe I'm completely wrong with, what's gonna happen with Bobby Lashley, but I'm not feeling right with it. Like, face Lesnar worked because he's having a lot of fun, but he still has the elements of the he can like get real serious and be like, I'll kick your ass type of situation. I don't know if they're gonna do that same thing with Lashley. I hope that it's not the I'm smiling and, hey, I'm having a good time here. Welcome, let me give me 5 stars on my review for customer service type of situation. But, I'll wait and see what happens. After that, we had Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn. This match was very fun. And if you did not like this match, um, what are you doing? Like, you're too serious. This match was a lot of fun. This match exactly what it was. I mean, I don't know how you think you would have Johnny Knoxville and the Jackass crew and this not turn into craziness. This is what they've been doing for like 20, 30 years. Um 20 years actually. So this match, no holds bar and stuff like that. A lot of contraptions that I've never seen. I mean, I've seen one Jackass, but I've never seen in a wrestling ring. Um, Sami Zayn with a hula kick immediately. It looked like Johnny took it to the face. I was very curious because I was like, there's really not a lot that could be done to Johnny Knoxville that hasn't been done voluntarily. So I fully expected him to take like hard, stiff hits, but I did laugh when Johnny Knoxville was introduced and they said he's 2 cheeseburgers away from 175 pounds. Pat McAfee was great on commentary. Pat McAfee made this match a lot more enjoyable because he didn't take it seriously because this match really shouldn't have been taken seriously. Um, Johnny Knoxville, a little bit of offense, doing a tornado DDT from the top rope. But oh my gosh, the mannequin leg that they tried to use that really didn't work. Um, my wife and daughter love this match, especially Wee Man. Oh my gosh, I popped when I saw Wee Man. I popped when I saw Party Boy too. I already knew what was going to happen. I was like, okay, this is going to go from PG to PG-13 real quick because I saw the tearaway pants. When I saw Wee Man, I popped. I didn't see Steve-O, so I was a little sad about that because he was one of my favorites from the crew. But yeah, Wee Man, oh my gosh, like what the hell? Like you take one suplex from Brock Lesnar, you come back and you suplex Sami Zayn. And it wasn't like a quick one like Sami Zayn like helped him with the suplex. No. He stood there and hold him in position like he was Rhea Ripley or something. Like I quickly popped for that. Well, like I said, Party Boy when Party Boy came out, Pat McAfee had me cracking up the whole time because he was like, "I know those cheeks from anywhere," and Sami Zayn, poor Sami Zayn, he got backed up in the corner as Party Boy was sitting there dancing with him. I thought we would get a little bit more with Party Boy, but it is what it is. And then shout out to Mark Henry and Mae Young's kid who made his, first appearance at WrestleMania when he appeared and slapped Sami Zayn. I cracked up for that one. Great camera as much as WWE doesn't really do well with their camera shots and their camera angles, that went perfectly because we didn't see that hand coming at all. And the way that that camera shot went, all you saw was boom, hand. I cracked up on that immediately. The bowling ball spot where he rolled the bowling ball into Sami Zayn in the corner. The taser as well. I even cracked up when when Sami Zayn did a hula kick to Wee Man. I was like, hey, ass kickings, hula kicks are equal opportunity. Okay, anybody could take one. Um, the giant mouse. First of all, the mousetrap table. Um, I cracked up at that. The giant mousetrap. This is the most creative finish I've ever seen in WWE. The giant mousetrap. That didn't go off. And then Johnny Knoxville is like, "Hold on, hold on, hold on, everyone. Let me move this thing." And then the trap went off on him, and then you see it on Sami Zayn, who of course Johnny Knoxville then wins afterwards. This was a fun match. I had a lot of fun with this. I was sports entertained. I was sports entertained. Um, it served its purpose. This was going to be something big fun. Shout out to Sami Zayn for, doing his part with this. I mean, he's really good at whatever gets thrown at him. So he played perfectly with this match. They also brought out the taser, which was a legit taser, which I was a little concerned about because I was like, Jackass and Johnny Knoxville, they're a little crazy. But he didn't let it go off on Sami Zayn at the spot, of course. But this was a very fun match. Definitely the talk of the night. After that, we had the women's tag team titles. Sasha Banks and Naomi Interest was really cool with the Maserati coming out and everything. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, like, what the hell are y'all doing? Like, what? Y'all can't come out with whips and leather and the Catwoman mask. I legit thought Liv Morgan was the bunny at first because she had the real tall earrings, the blonde hair and stuff like that. I legit thought she was the bunny at first. And then I was like, wait, it's Liv Morgan. But yeah, good gracious. And then Zelina with the Queen of the Damn gear I caught. And then Carmella dressing like it's her wedding night. I'm like, ma'am, like I'm fine with women's gear and stuff like that, but she was wearing legit bra and panties. Like I felt as though we was back in the Attitude Era for a second with like a evening gown match or something like that. And then Shayna Baszler and Natalia was there too. um I hate the setup of the this type of tag team match where, you tag I'm gonna tag you in, you're gonna tag this person in. It really doesn't make sense for the people who are whoever is champion because it's like you're tagging yourself out to take yourself out of the opportunity to retain your title. I felt as though and if match kind of like it kind of fell a bit flat for me with that because of that. Like you had to do, especially at the beginning, where it was like, I'm gonna tag you. No, I'm gonna tag you. I'm gonna tag you because nobody wanted to go against Rhea Ripley. I felt as though if this was like a fatal four-way tag team match, this would have been a lot better. We would have been talking a lot more about this match versus like, the fact of who won and the interests and stuff like that. I think it would have been a lot better. Then we see, of course, afterwards, the breakup of Carmella and Zelina Vega, which we knew was coming, but the way that they broke up was kind of weird. I'll get into that in a little bit. But I did not like the setup of this match. I hate when they do the tag team matches like this. It doesn't really make any sense. For you to tag yourself out when you're trying to retain your title. Um, but however, I had Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley winning this match, but I didn't even realize Sasha Banks has never won at WrestleMania, and I had to like really think about it, and I was like, that is a as good as Sasha is, as high on the pedestal that they would put her sometimes outside of Becky and Charlotte. I was very shocked about that. So yeah, once I heard about that, I was like, okay, sh- um, Sasha really needs to win here. She won, and you can definitely tell that the titles mean something to her. Of course, she was one of the women who was really big on getting the tag team titles to WWE. I'm hoping that we will get more with it. Didn't seem as promising with what happened at Raw after Mania. Um, but I'm very happy. I'm very happy that they won, and we have Sasha, we got Naomi, we got Bianca Belair, we got Jade Cargill, we got Tasha over in Impact, all champions. So it's just a great moment for us Black women, especially the ones who's been, wrestling fans for a very long time and not only really seeing like representation, but like it's not really popular to be a fan of wrestling as a Black woman. So seeing like especially what happened last year with Sasha and Bianca's main event, like getting that kind of like vindication that, it's it's cool. It's cool to be a fan of wrestling. It's cool to like what you like and, do what you do and that there's other women out there who are just as passionate of wrestling, more passionate of wrestling than you are. So that was really cool. And I really appreciated that. And I'm very happy for Sasha. As we saw with the Raw after Mania, um, they did rematches. I hate when WWE and even when AEW did it. That is rematches or it's the match before the match. WWE is very very known for doing rematches after a pay-per-view. And that's pretty much what we kind of got here. We had number one contender. I thought they were defending the title at first, but apparently it's a match for to see if Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley are the number one contenders. And it seems like they're teasing for them to break up, which I kind of didn't want to happen, but if it's turning to what I think it's going to turn to with Rhea Ripley, I'm kind of fine with it. But then that kind of leaves Liv Morgan in limbo once again. Um, so after that, we had more recaps of what's going to happen the next night. So I didn't understand why that was happening until was stepping away from I was watching WrestleMania on my computer, and I had to go into the kitchen to like make something to eat, and so I threw WrestleMania on my tablet, and I noticed every time they were doing a video package, it was technically during the commercial breaks for people who don't pay the premium service for Peacock, which makes no sense. Like, I know it's like $6, but I'm paying to not get commercials. They could have easily like did like interviews backstage or something like that. I don't know, or just like I don't know. It's kind of tough to like if you're not paying $6, you just miss out on parts of WrestleMania. That's all there is to it. Okay. But yeah. So that's why that they kept doing all the recaps. It was every time that there was a commercial. And then after that was the match that I was looking forward to the most for WrestleMania, which was AJ Styles versus Edge. Edge with the Brood Ministry of Darkness Undertaker type of intro. Um, I loved it. I thought it was a tribute to I thought he was doing a tribute to Undertaker too, because he was wearing black and purple gear as well. But I don't know if it was actually that or not. AJ Styles, so I saw that he was cut. I didn't see the fan video, but I did hear that when I was watching the Pat McAfee show on Monday. The way that they have the entrance, of course, with the star, there's a portion where of the star that you if you're not walking directly in the middle of the entrance, you will, it'll smack you in the head. And so that's what happened to AJ Styles, and that's why he was bleeding on the way out. Now, this was a match I was really looking forward to, and it was a bit underwhelming for me. Maybe because I had very high expectations for this match. That it just really I know like we've seen AJ Styles at his best, and we've seen Edge at his best, like kind of recently. So 1 + 1 = 2. I figure, these two together definitely make magic and stuff like that. And that's not really what we got. So I don't know if they're holding off, having a spectacular match, for later on in this feud, as we see that this feud is continuing on, or I don't know if maybe AJ Styles probably got hit very hard on the side of his head or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, this match really wasn't as good as I thought it would be. I didn't really like the finish either of Damian Priest standing there, and um it distracted AJ Styles long enough to lose. It was the same thing that they did with Asuka. I think it was James Ellsworth they did. James Ellsworth was just standing there, and it distracted Asuka so much that she lost the match too. I thought AJ and Edge were scrapping backstage, right? Like I felt as though there was a part of the match that we missed or something, because it. Or I really think it's just the fact that we had such high expectations for this match because we've seen both guys um not really peak, but we've seen both guys like very recently put on really good matches. And so like there was assumptions that this was going to be a really good match of the weekend and stuff like that. And we really didn't get it. So I don't know, maybe we'll get it, at Backlash or something, or however long that they decide to let this play out. I don't know why I just really didn't like the finish, and it didn't make sense for AJ Styles because AJ Styles, of all people, is very like wrestling intelligent to know like, hey, a person standing there really shouldn't distract you long enough to where as though like you get defeated or something. Um, I wish that maybe Damien had did something like maybe a ref bump or something, or even had the ref turn his back and then Damian Priest tries to do something to distract AJ Styles. But him just standing there, especially with the camera angle like to the side of his face, I don't know, it really didn't do much for me. But as we see, with what happened Raw after Mania, the promo that Edge cut and then having Damian Priest come out, that was like as much Raw after Mania as it was because the crowd got into it, chanting "We don't care." I hope that the Vince and the creative crew really don't take that into perspective because we do care. That's just the Raw crowd being the Raw crowd. And then of course, Damien mentioning, that used to bother me, and Edge was like, "Yeah, look at that, losers," and the crowd chanted, "We are losers." So I was like, okay, that was about as much as Raw after Mania as we got that last night. But yeah, I'm very happy that Priest is joining Edge. I like Damian Priest. I liked him when he was in NXT. And so him teaming up with Edge with this new faction definitely works. There are so many people who, including Brody King, who made connections to them in House of Black. And I was like, if you got like nothing is original in WWE. House of Black is not original. There was a faction called the Brood, and then before that, and he died before that. And then there was the Ministry of Darkness. That's what I was getting with Edge, that he was kind of doing this like new age type of Ministry of Darkness type of situation. Um, what the hell? Okay. I had some. Well, that's the first time it happened in my live stream. I had somebody had a troll. Interesting. Um, hmm, that's interesting. But anyway, um, but yeah, I'm very happy that Priest is joining Edge. So I'm hoping that this will help out um Damian Priest. It feels like they're giving him a lot more of time. So then after that was actually the match of the New Day versus Sheamus. The New Day with the singlets in tribute of Big E. I really popped for that. If you don't listen to the New Day well, they don't really have any new episodes anymore. But with the New Day podcast, Big E had mentioned like one of the things he wanted was for all three of them to wear singlets, and then Xavier Woods kind of made a big deal with it because he felt as though he would look pretty weird in a singlet because he doesn't really have the body for it. So seeing Kofi and Xavier wearing the singlets for Big E was a nice touch. Um, I fully expected for them to lose. I'm sorry. I kind of figured that Pete Dunne, I know his name is Butch. Um, I don't really like the name Butch. I said it on the Circle of Debate podcast that Butch is the name of a dog. Okay, it's name of other things, but when I hear Butch, I'm thinking of a big dog that you would call Butch. Here, Butch. And so making the dog connection, first of all, I don't like what is happening with Pete Dunne because he was acting like a little chihuahua trying to attack everyone. Um, they had Sheamus like pulling him back and stuff like that because he kept trying to attack everyone. It's just like they even posted a photo today, I think it was, of them holding Pete Dunne because he was trying to attack the camera, the photographer or something. So I don't know. I liked the fact that he was teamed up with Sheamus, but it seems like, not all good things happen. And we see that he's just like, let me at him type of situation. Um, so I kind of figured that Pete Dunne will cause a distractor or something like that to cause them to win. And no, they lost cleanly. So, that it is what it is. I figured they're going to continue this feud ahead. The issue that I have with WWE is that they replayed what happened to Big E, which makes no sense to me because I'm like, first of all, he could have died. That is a legit very bad injury, and they replayed it like a few times after that. So I was very confused as to why we're doing that, like why they played it. Like they're very good as far as blacking out like the finishes to matches and stuff like that. So I was just very I just really didn't understand as far as why they were okay with showing that. Um so then after that we had definitely a favorite match of mine for the night, which was Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. Um I First of all, I've seen Pat McAfee when he came to NXT, and when he went against went against Adam Cole in NXT, and that first match, like I was like, wow, this is amazing. First of all, that Pat McAfee was able to do all this. And then of course he was in the War Games match, and so I was excited to see Pat McAfee wrestle again. He's great on commentary. One of my favorite commentators. Him and Michael Cole have great chemistry. This is the like I Michael Cole has definitely grew on me this time around. I'm very happy that Pat McAfee's with Michael Cole because I can actually listen to. I remember there were times where we really didn't want to hear Michael Cole, but um but I'm very happy that we were able to get Pat McAfee because now it's easier to now it's very easy to listen to matches with Michael Cole. Um Sorry, I'm trying to do something in the background. Uh so yeah. Um this match was pretty fun. First of all, as a Cowboys fan, I really appreciate Pat McAfee's entrance. Um there was there was people who was like, maybe they should have made a connection to the Colts or something like that, which really would have made zero sense because they're in Dallas. They're in the AT&T Stadium. To um they have access to the Cowboys cheerleaders. So I don't really see as to why okay. I don't really see as to why we would use anyone else except for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. First of all, the song that they had him came out to, I don't know if that's the same song that they had him come out to when he was NXT. Apparently, it's the same song that they used. Apparently, it's the same song that they use for when he comes out when they introduce him as commentator. But the crowd singing the song, it seems they even was singing the song on Raw after Mania. So that song definitely now connects with Pat McAfee. Don't know how much longer they can use this song, even though it's a song that is listened to a lot in like NFL and stuff like that. It's the White Stripes. I forgot the name of the song, but it's by the White Stripes. Um, then he came out and he came and punted a ball, and it made me slightly sad because that is one of the best kicks I've seen in AT&T Stadium because we definitely don't have a great kicker, but if Pat McAfee is looking to unretire, he can definitely be a kicker for the Cowboys. Michael Cole was cracking me up during this whole match because he definitely said he would be completely biased. And he was cheering harder for Pat McAfee more than him popping for, John Cena and, oh my God, could it be? But it was funny, it was funny when he was doing it. He gave zero shits that Vince was sitting right there near him. Um, he was there with Byron Saxton, who was like, "Shush, Vince is right there. He can hear you." And if this was Attitude Era, Michael Cole probably would have been like, "I don't give a fuck." So he was cracking me up during this. Very good match between them two. The spot where Pat McAfee was on the top rope, did a backflip, landed on his feet. Austin Theory looked very shocked, and then you see um Pat McAfee jump onto the top rope, which I think he did on in NXT. I think that same spot happened in NXT. But this was a fun match. There was a he tried to do a swanton, but he missed. Um First of all, not a lot of wrestlers can do what Pat McAfee do. I'm gonna say that right there. There are some wrestlers out there who cannot do what Pat McAfee did. I'm looking at some people in NXT, yes, but still. Um, the crowd was hot during this whole match. I mean, they were on their feet for as late as it was. For as many hours as we went, the crowd was hot for them. Um, Pat McAfee won, which I kind of figured. Um, then Vince comes over and he starts looking over at Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee starts, taunting him, telling him like get into the ring type of situation. And then you see Vince kind of take off the jacket. And there was rumors that it was going to be Vince versus Pat McAfee at WrestleMania. And even when I heard that, I was like, I don't see it. I don't see Vince McMahon taking bumps or wrestling in the match. I mean, the man is almost 80 years old. And then he takes off the jacket. He starts loosening up the tie and stuff like that. Took off the shirt, putting all of us to shame at how jacked he still kind of is. And gets to the ring. And then the ref pops up. And I'm like, are we about to have Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee? Like the craziest of audibles. I mean, that's probably why all these other matches was kind of like really cut short with these weird finishes because they wanted to make have enough time for Vince McMahon as we could. Was the match between him and Pat McAfee a 5-star match? No, it wasn't. It was sports entertainment. It was Pat McAfee having the time of his life, getting a WrestleMania match, going against Vince McMahon. There is not a lot of people on this planet Earth that could say I had a WrestleMania match against Vince McMahon. Bret Hart can say that. Stone Cold could say that. I think Hulk Hogan can say that. Who else? The Rock? No, I don't think The Rock faced Vince McMahon at WrestleMania. I think Stone Cold faced Vince McMahon at WrestleMania. I'm not even 100. I think it was WrestleMania. I'm not even 100% sure. But yeah, not a lot of people could say Vince whipped my ass at WrestleMania. Um, was it, was Vince McMahon like unconvincingly kicking Austin Theory, and was Austin Theory the one that pretty much was selling all the whole time? Yes. Yes, that punt looked like he just stepped off the field of the Dallas Cowboys team. But it was still an entertaining match. And then afterwards, Austin Theory got involved. Um, Vince McMahon pinned him 1, 2, 3. They're celebrating. So then it took so long for them to play Austin Theory's music that I forgot it was Austin Theory's music they were playing. And then Vince kind of like acted scared real quick. So I figured somebody was coming out. I didn't think it was fucking Stone Cold. Stone Cold comes out, and it just took all of us back to the Attitude Era with him. He comes out, he stuns Austin Theory. Austin Theory with definitely top 5 Stone Cold Steve Austin sells of all time. I laughed so hard at that sell. I watched it back a few times, stuff like that. Vince gave Pat the Orange Cassidy kicks. Yes, he did. I didn't even catch that. He did give Orange Cassidy kicks. I wish that there were some AEW fans there that caught on to it so they can really pop for it. Yes, I noticed that. Honestly, I was waiting for the broken glass. Yeah, and I didn't realize it was Stone Cold. I don't know why I didn't think it was Stone Cold, but yeah, Austin Theory's sell of that stunner, like he got so much air. And not only did he do it, it kind of reminded me of Scott Hall. But not only he did it, Scott Hall, but he got so much air, and then he did the cartoon like arms waving and, and legs going. Definitely was great. And then he like turns this to Vince McMahon, and I was like, "Is Vince McMahon about to take a stunner like he used to?" Now, was Vince McMahon on the list of the 5 worst sells of Stone Cold stunners? Yes. I don't know why people completely forget how he used to take stunners. Him and Linda was very bad at taking stunners. Street Fighter mode, exactly. Exactly. Um, I don't know why people thought that Vince McMahon will like sell the stunner so well. He's been crap for like the longest. Every time he took a stunner, it wasn't great. Like he just goes down. So he tasted Stone Cold's new beer. He approved it. They they bang cans, and then they're taking it back. You see Stone Cold take a step back, and then he kicked Vince, to set up the stunner. I don't know if it actually connected or something because Vince just immediately goes down. And I didn't realize Stone Cold had the beer in his mouth so he could spit it out when he does the stunner. You can see that Stone Cold just wanted to crack up so bad. But yeah, then Vince hits the ropes, and then he finally grabs him and stuns him. Then Vince just instantly goes down. That sell by Vince was perfect. Been botching stunners since '98. Exactly. So, Vince has never sold a stunner. Had he has sold the stunner well, I would have been completely surprised. That moment would have took over WrestleMania weekend. If Vince McMahon at 80 years old sells the stunner better than Vince McMahon at 50. So yeah, and then you see Stone Cold like cracking up and stuff like that. He's just having the best of times. Then he went and started kicking Vince, and Vince just like a slug slowly slide out of the ring onto the ground and stuff. And then he sees Pat McAfee, and I'm like, yo, Pat McAfee is living. We are all living through Pat McAfee. Growing up a wrestling fan, get to go NXT and stuff like that. Wrestled Adam Cole. Um, sorry, Devin, but wrestled Adam Cole. Then goes on commentaries, able to like. He's not even play by play. He doesn't stick to the script. He says whatever he wants. He reacts exactly the way that we would react. And then in one day, you know, WrestleMania match, crowd pop, big WrestleMania entrance, goes against Vince McMahon. I mean, even if, yeah, he didn't get any offense, but you have like he checked off his bucket list, face Vince McMahon at WrestleMania, and then drinks beers with Stone Cold. And so, he's in there, he gets on the top rope, yeah, bangs the cans, drinks, stuff like that. And then he drinks it again and he sees Stone Cold, takes a step back, stuns him. And Pat McAfee with the beer fountain cell, the very similar to Shane McMahon. I think he's on the list as well. I have to rewatch everyone, but definitely Austin Theory, Scott Hall, The Rock, Kurt Angle as well. I feel like I'm missing some people who took stunners as well. But yeah, definitely like very good sell by Pat McAfee. And I'm like, and he gets stunned by Stone Cold Steve Austin too at WrestleMania. Like that is probably like one of the best days of Pat McAfee's life. But that was such a fun match, such a fun moment. Um, we were stupendous moment basically, the trigger word that they kept telling us that we all hated, and we all walked away like, yeah, that was actually stupendous. Then we get to the main event, the biggest main event, biggest WrestleMania main event of all time, that they kept telling us. You know this fell flat for me. I did pick for Brock Lesnar to win, sorry, but I was not that excited about this match because I felt as though what was going to happen actually happened, where there was this cookie cutter, setup with Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, whereas though Lesnar gets all the offense at first, either with the shoulder tackles in the corner or with suplexes. And then Roman gets like a second win. He starts getting some offense. Then Lesnar takes over again, and then Roman gets offense, and then the match kind of like wherever it goes, whoever they decide to win, it kind of just goes from there. And that's exactly how it started. And that's why I was like, this is like, I was hoping it would be slightly different because we have Roman Reigns as the tribal chief this time. It's Cowboy, Brock Lesnar this time. But it was slightly disappointing that it kind of was like the same thing. And there are people who argued against this because a lot of people was like, this is the seventh time we're getting a match between these two. And there was people that make comparisons to Stone Cold and The Rock, or with different matches that we've seen happen. You had Taker versus Shawn Michaels back to back. You had Triple H versus Undertaker back to back. But it was like, yeah, but there was a difference when it came into the ring. Like there was a difference in the match. There was a bit of a change up. It wasn't like the same flow type of situation. I mean, if you can imagine Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker for 7 times, and it flows exactly the way the same thing it goes. Like Shawn Michaels, super kick, Undertaker, kicks out, sit up, choke slam 3 times, and then Shawn Michaels get a super kick. Like you kind of not really tune out, but you kind of like just go with the flow with the match. And that's how I felt with this match. Um, I was wishing that they had changed up something. Um, the Lesnar intro, him coming out, definitely a very big pop for him. Um, the I was cracking up though with the intros. Paul Heyman took the mic to introduce Roman Reigns, and then Brock Lesnar took the mic to introduce himself. I cracked up at that one. The crowd was like so into it. Was very hyped at the fact that he introduced himself like Paul Heyman would do. Um so the part where first of all he got suplexed like 8 9 times in a row, and then Brock Lesnar got the Kimura lock on him, and I don't know if he like really overdid it or something, but he Roman was able to roll out of it, and he's just laying there, and he was sitting there telling Paul Heyman like, "It's out, my shoulder, it's out," and Paul Heyman, in perfect character, Paul Heyman rarely breaks the character. "You could do it, my tribal chief. Stay in there. Think of your family. You could do it." And Roman Reigns just sitting there like, "Paul, my shoulder, it's out." Like, I'm legit hurt. And Paul Heyman goes, "My tribal chief, you could do anything. I believe in you. I love you, my tribal chief." I was just like, Paul, he's legit injured here. He's trying to tell you he popped his shoulder. But Paul Heyman just like, his tribal chief and everything. He had popped his shoulder back in. There was a lump on his arm too, so it looked like he was legit hurt, but it didn't really seem like it came on Monday when he was holding up the title and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, the we had the very quick finish. I don't know if it was because Roman was injured. I cannot stop laughing. That part was too hilarious. It was because I was like, I really felt bad for Roman because I was like, Roman's legit trying to tell his manager, "I'm hurt. Get the doctor. I'm hurt." And Paul Heyman's just like, "My tribal chief, just hold in, your your shoulder. It's your tribal chief. The shoulder is the tribal chief. Your shoulder is the head of the table along with you." It's just like, Paul, read the room. He's actually injured. Poor Roman just like didn't know what to do. But it was a very quick finish. I guess it was because of Roman's shoulder. And then it seemed like he was legit hurt because when he was trying to hold up the titles, like he couldn't hold up with one arm. And you see him like scream and like power through it. And then he gave the other title to Paul Heyman. And I was looking at the time and I was like, it's 11:45. Like we got like, I mean, night one ended like around midnight. I'm like, okay, so night two, we got a bit of time, but nope. Uh, the graphic came up. That's all, folks. Thank you for watching night two of WrestleMania. So I was a bit shocked that that was it. Not really shocked. I was more shocked at what happened at Raw after Mania. Um, so getting into that, I talked about Cody's promo, very babyface promo. He's going after the title. I don't know how to feel if he is actually going to be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. Um, I don't know how to feel about that because I'm like, it's you had a whole roster of people who could dethrone him. Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, um, but you're gonna give it to Cody. I'm like, it's if I was on the roster already and Cody Rhodes comes in from AEW and gets the booking that I've worked 300 days for, I probably would be upset. But Seth Rollins comes out. I thought we was gonna get like a longer feud. Like I had said, they shook hands, which I was pretty surprised about. But I guess with the connection of Dusty, it was that. A lot of rematches here with the women's tag team. We was going to get another women's tag team match, but then that led to the breakup of Zelina Vega and Carmella. We also had the NXT title on here, which didn't make any sense to me. Um, I thought Braun Breaker was going to be called up to the main roster. Normally, Raw after Mania, it's call up season, it's return season, stuff like that. It's the start of new storylines. It's zany, wacky, the bizarre world, like they like to call it. But he gets a match in front of the crowd, so I'm like, okay, I don't know if they're doing this because they want him to get eyes on more people, which kind of don't make any sense because he's been on the main roster before anyway. But no, this was a rematch for the title. So I was like, okay, maybe this is to bring out the Steiner brothers. That's why we're having this, have them have their moment. And no, that's not what we got. He won the title, which I'm like, why didn't we get this on Saturday? And not only did he win the title, but that was that. Like the Steiners didn't show up or anything like that. They did mention that he is related to the Steiners, that he is the son of Rick, the nephew of Scott Steiner. And that was that. There was nothing else to it. And speaking of the Steiner brothers, the Hall of Fame, what was that? What was that speech by Scott? I don't know. I was listening to it and I'm sitting here like, is he speaking code or something like that? Because he did mention I have a live mic, and Rick was like, "All right, now." I don't know what that was, what type of story he was telling. I was like, "Yo, tell us something. Tell us something." Like he at least did the "Where are my freaks at" type of that line, but I don't know what the hell that was as far as that speech from Scott Steiner. But I was hoping that we at least see him come out with Braun Breaker, celebrate, kind of give us a bit of a WrestleMania moment with them three, but that was that. So it seems like Braun Breaker's going back to NXT. Dolph Ziggler, I don't know if he's going back to NXT or if he's going to be stuck in limbo or something like that. We also had KO who gave a very funny promo saying that his back was hurting, which he did mention. He did mention that at the KO show. That's why he lost, and this, that, and the third. And then he was talking, and then it shows Ezekiel, and I was like, Ezekiel. And then out comes out this guy who came off the pages of Creative Wrestler from 2K22. And I'm like looking like, who the hell is this guy? I was like, I know I didn't watch a lot of NXT 2.0, but I'm very sure I never saw this guy before. Very generic. And I'm looking and I was like, is that Elias? And then I was like, oh my gosh. Like immediately my mind goes to they're killing Elias. He gets into the ring and KO goes, Elias, is that you? And then he goes, my name's not Elias. My name's Ezekiel. I'm Elias's younger brother. And I was like, still like in complete shock. Like, what are they doing to Elias? He looks smaller, first of all. Um, like, what are we doing here? This is stupid. And then, you're Elias. He's like, no, I'm not Elias. I'm his younger brother, Ezekiel. And then, he kept calling him Eric and stuff like that. And then I'm like, okay, this feels like Damien Sandow type of situation. Like, with Raw After Mania, they kind of like throw things to see if it stick. So I don't know from here if we're going to get like Damien Sandow, like Elias really acting like he's the younger brother of, Ezekiel, uh, is playing this younger brother of Elias part, and then we get all this stuff, and it turns into something like Damien Sandow, and I hope it plays out well. Or this is going to be like, all right, I hope Elias, I hope Elias re-ups his resume. Yes, best of luck with your future endeavors, Elias. Exactly. What's your name, Tony? That's why I'm thinking like I'm hoping this turns into something good like Damien Sandow and stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of faith with it. I mean, Ezekiel isn't even dressed like rememberable. Like I could see if he was like wearing jeans or something like that and to like make that connection, but he looked very weird here. He looked very weird here. Then we get a rematch between Dominik and The Miz, which is like we just saw this. No Logan Paul, not even an explanation as to why he turned on Logan Paul. It's just like a rematch here. The Miz beat Dominik in such little time. I don't like Dominik is holding on strong because he is raised kid, but I'm like, yo, if you were not raised kid, I would definitely think you are like about to be future endeavored because this he has yet to really win anything. Like I know he's still like green and stuff like that, but he still hasn't really been able to like win anything memorable and he keeps getting squashed. So it's just like you're never I don't really see you going after a title anytime soon unless it's the tag team titles with your dad, but I really don't see you striking out on your own. I don't even see him being healed because he's such like a he literally has a baby face. He's such like, a nice person, but uh the Miz defeats Dominik very quickly. Start and then we get Veer. Veer has finally came, and what a load he brought with him. Comes out, the crowd like somewhat popped, but then it's just like it's been so long that it really it's been so long, and then on top of that, he's been wrestling on main event. So if you really wanted to see him, you can check him out there. And then on top of that, he comes out and he like I don't know, it wasn't really even really oppressive for as long as they've been teasing this guy. For him to come out, the submission he did was pretty cool, and Dominik really sold it well. Um, but then he like does this smash or something like that, and he just kind of stands there, and that was it. Like, I thought he would, like, appear and then, he have a match or something like that because they already announced that he was coming at Raw. He was actually coming. They actually gave us a date of when he was coming. But it was underwhelming. Plus on top of that, that crowd, I have a theory as to why. First of all, it could have been because like you could say, yeah, because the international crowd really didn't travel because of the pandemic, but they were like so hyped for WrestleMania, especially during the Pat McAfee and the Stone Cold segment. Normally that crowd comes right along with Raw. I feel as though um I think AEW kind of screwed up the Raw after Mania, especially for what we've been getting for the past couple of years with Raw after Mania. Once the pandemic happened, I think I think if AEW was to have a WrestleMania setup, I think their Dynamite after Mania would have that Mania crowd. I think with AEW coming out and fans having the opportunity of doing chants and having fun and stuff like that, I think that messed up WWE and I think that messed up the whole Raw after Mania. And plus, as we saw here, the booking has been so bad with Raw that their booking of Raw after Mania is underwhelming. No call ups, no returns, no continuing of storylines. Bianca Belair had cut a really good promo. No one came out to, go after a title. Like I think it would even been interesting if we had like I know it'd been a lot to ask for Bailey to come back. It would have been a lot for, Asuka to come back, but at least something. Give us something instead of a straight promo. Um it really didn't make sense as far as Ezekiel. The crowd really didn't react to it that much. The most that we got from the crowd was during the segment of Edge and Damian when they were starting to do their chants and stuff. And then they started to sing the song that Pat McAfee came out to. It was just like, and I sat down for all 3 hours to watch this Raw too. And I was like, it's very boring, very underwhelming. It felt like a waste of time. If the international crowd was there, they definitely was very quiet. So I don't know if they put like muzzles on people. I'm sure they pat people down to see if they had any beach balls or something like that. Probably took away signs. Like it just wasn't fun. And it was a very disappointing end to a WrestleMania weekend. And it feels like we're just back to square one with WWE and their booking. Just very interested like what is going to happen with Cody Rhodes. Oh, and then in the end we had Roman Reigns who came out and he got a pretty good reception for the crowd. And then he comes out and says, tune into SmackDown. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, is this what we're gonna have? We're just gonna have him show up on one show and tell you to watch the other show. Like, hey, if you want to see what Roman Reigns do, tune into SmackDown. Then he goes to SmackDown, give us a little bit. Hey, if you want to see what he's gonna do, tune into Raw." So I'm interested to know what this new belt is going to be. Um, it's a unification match, so I'm assuming it's all going to be one belt. Um, I I'm afraid this is what I'm afraid of is the fact that because they're unifying the belts, like there's going to be such a bottleneck of how many people can go after the title because now it's only one belt. At least when we had two belts, there were people who got a lot more opportunity. I mean, really, like really think about it. I think the crowd was exhausted because of the two-night WrestleMania. I think so too, because this is the first time we're getting the two-night WrestleManias. Especially if the crowd brought for night one, night two, and then Raw after Mania, it can get pretty tiring. But it's like, I don't know. It's like a lose-lose situation because it's either two nights and then you're kind of like exhausted from it, or it's one night and it's 12 hours of wrestling and you're exhausted from it. I did feel really good watching night one. The crowd was more active at night one, and I think it's because it's Saturday. You don't have to think about work or anything like that. You don't have to really think about school or and stuff like that. Getting, especially for parents, having us, get the kids ready for the next day and stuff. So I felt really good watching WrestleMania on Saturdays. Um, but when we get to Sunday, it's just like, all right, let's get it rolling. I have to get to sleep. I have to wake up early the next day type of situation. So yeah, they probably were a bit exhausted because of the two-night mania. But they did kind of wake up a bit for Edge and Damian. I think too is the booking too. Because we saw the crowd kind of like they were like a bit quiet on night 2 until Pat McAfee came out. And then they were like very animated, and they were animated with Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn. I think if WWE had booked Raw after Mania as crazy as they normally do, it probably would have woke up the crowd. Like if they had Bailey come back, that would have really popped the crowd and stuff. Um, but yeah, I think too, Austin Theory had pinned Finn Balor, I think, pretty quick. Pinned Finn Balor too, in that 6-man tag team match too. I don't know. I feel bad for Finn Balor. Um, but yeah, I'm very concerned as to what's going to happen in the title picture. Because it's going to be like not a lot of people going after the title. Like really think about it. Roman Reigns has held the title for over a year and a half, and for with one title. And during that time, we had different people who never really had a title shot get a title shot, like Biggie. We had Bobby Lashley finally get the title. We had The Miz, who even though he held the title for 8 days, he had the title. And now that with Roman Reigns, it's just like, especially if the plan is for him to hold it until WrestleMania, it's just like the rest of the roster is going to feel like mid card, just like it felt with the men's Royal Rumble. Everyone's going to feel like mid card. Like it's not really going to be any credible people who's going to go after the title. But yeah, the Raw after Mania was very underwhelming, and I didn't really watch Rampage, so I didn't really get to see what happened there. I saw a little bit of the Ring of Honor show. I saw FTR versus the Briscoes, and Samoa Joe is all elite, which I am so happy for. I thought Samoa Joe was coming back for Ring of Honor, but they mentioned that he's all elite. He's going to show up at Dynamite as well. I can't wait to see that because, yeah, Samoa Joe, like having Samoa Joe back being Samoa Joe. I cannot wait to see, especially all the dream matches that we're going to see him fight in. Um, what else? I'm As far as Ring of Honor, I heard that it got 20,000 pay-per-view buys, which I looked into. I think one year recently they only did 1,000. So I'm very happy for Ring of Honor. I'm just concerned as to what Ring of Honor is going to turn into. I'm hoping that it keeps its core essence, and that Tony Khan doesn't like try to make into AEW Part 2 or a breeding ground for AEW. Because even with the show, a lot of the AEW people got over, which doesn't really help Ring of Honor. While it brings eyes to Ring of Honor, it doesn't help Ring of Honor because it's basically AEW Part 2. I'm hoping that he gives, the booking job to someone trustworthy or something. I was thinking William Regal or something, but at least someone who can take Ring of Honor and kind of like make it what it is, but on a higher level in front of a lot more eyes. Because I know he's booker of both companies, which he needs help. You can't do it all your own. And then there was a lot of people who had issue with Tony Khan because of his reactions with Samoa Joe and stuff. There was a lot of comparisons between him and Vince McMahon. Yes, Vince McMahon is a businessman. He's a better businessman than Tony Khan, because he came into wrestling um, as a business person, basically. When he took the company from his dad, he had expectations as far as profits and stuff like that. Tony Khan got into the wrestling business as a fan. He is a fan first and then the businessman the second. So he's not looking exactly for profits and stuff like that. He is looking at, oh man, all these dream matches, all these wrestlers that I can sign. Um, Look, if I was Tony, if I hit the lotto tomorrow and I started a wrestling company, y'all probably would hate my ass because I would be so much worse than Tony Khan as far as his level of excitement. I would be doing the Triple H handshake, except for, instead of the point I'm like I would be hyped as well. He is pretty much all of us if we were to get money and started a wrestling company. So, growing up watching wrestling, I will be calling the Undertaker every single day, like, hey, I have a wrestling company. Can you just like come over and just like take a picture with me real quick? But yeah, I will mark out as well with every person that I had signed. Um and so him reacting, it's nice because the passion is there. So you're going to get a good show. You're going to get a good show because Tony Khan is going to want to put on the best show. However, as far as like booking and things like that, things get overlooked because, he has all these talented wrestlers type of situation. And then him being so passionate about his company, it kind of can hurt him a bit, as we've seen plenty of times. But yeah, he's a fan first. Sometimes that really don't work. I'm hoping, like I said, he gets some help. He needs a PR team, so that way he won't, tweet and react type of situation. Or that, he's so passionate that wrestlers and fans don't end up being the booker, if that makes any sense. Because there was, I think it was a week or two ago, the fans were not happy for the setup of Dynamite. They were calling it like a filler show because they didn't really have a lot going on. And then he tweeted out like, "Oh, I'm gonna add another match," and that's when we got I think it was Dax Hardwood versus CM Punk, which helped because I'm like, okay, yeah, we got something good, something exciting for the match. But it's like the fans are going to be unhappy regardless. They're never going to be perfectly happy with something. And so, I don't want him to fall into the wanting to please the fans so much that, it'll make his head spin type of situation. Um, let's see. I think the Hall of Fame. I teared up for Undertaker's Hall of Fame. Definitely end of an era. Undertaker was my favorite wrestler of all time. So seeing him um calling it quits until the end, of course. He said never say never. And I thought he was going to show up at WrestleMania. But yeah, TED Talk. This is coming from a Undertaker fan, but that was really a TED Talk. I know that he wants to talk about Mark Calloway and stuff like that, but we don't really get a lot of like behind the scenes stuff as him as Undertaker, and that's kind of like the stories that we really wanted right now. But he really wants to talk about himself, him behind the Undertaker. But yeah, it was a really good speech. Definitely motivational speech. I expect someone to take his speech, add some motivation music to it, and put some, inspirational videos along with it, like you would see on YouTube. Um, and some people mentioned how I think Mick Foley's daughter mentioned that he really didn't talk about Mick Foley and stuff. I was like, well, he mentioned a lot of people. He mainly talked to the people who were standing there, and then of course he talked about the BSK crew. But there's so many people who played a factor with him that it. He spoke for like what, an hour, damn near like pretty much an hour or something like that. He could talk for like 5 hours and it still won't cover everything that has happened in his career. I think Vince mentioned him as one of the people that he had one of his opponents that he had faced, but on top of that, Mick Foley been talking stuff about WWE anyway, and Undertaker is such a company guy. So, you know, I don't think they mentioned CM Punk as the list of people that the Undertaker had went against as well. Chad Gasper, definitely a tear-jerking moment. Once I saw his son, I like slightly lost it. His wife very strong. I thought she was gonna lose it. Him and the son and JTG doing the crime time handshake was pretty cool as well. Um, Vader's introduction was pretty cool as well. Queen Charmel, I loved her speech. Um, I'm happy for her. She looked beautiful first of all. Um, but like I said, I love I appreciate Queen Charmel. I feel as though there are other women who should have gotten to the Hall of Fame before her. Um, but yeah, it is what it is as far as the Hall of Fame. People were calling for the Warrior Award to get renamed, which I understand, but um that will kind of eliminate. Dana Warrior has been doing a lot of community outreach for WWE. I mean, if they're going to rename it, they can call it the Shad Gasper Warrior Award. Kind of put them two together of what Ultimate Warrior really wanted, and and what Shad Gasper has done for his son, the Ultimate Sacrifice. But it was a pretty good show. I love the setup with the fans and stuff like that, and the wrestlers sitting up on the stage. I didn't realize Andrade was there because of Charlotte. I saw some photos of it as well. Um, I'm I don't know really how to feel about the fact that it happened after SmackDown. Um, I mean, of course, it played right over Rampage, but it was for like 2 hours, I believe. Was the Hall of Fame. I feel as though like I don't know, you could just make SmackDown like a special episode of the Hall of Fame, like have SmackDown for 1 hour and then have the Hall of Fame because if it wasn't for the Undertaker, I would have definitely have fell asleep because that was a very long time. Like especially for the fans who showed up for SmackDown night 1, night 2 and the and Raw after Mania, and then you had NXT Stand and Deliver, which I didn't watch. I didn't watch live. I caught replays of it. Um, I was watching it with my daughter while because I was doing her hair. My daughter is a fan of Cora Jade. Um, and I was like, "Why are you a fan of Cora Jade?" Because I thought it was she liked it because of the skateboarding. She was like, "She's very beautiful." I was like, "Okay, all right, that's fine." So yeah, because she kept asking, she was like, "Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy?" And she'll cheer for the good guy. But yeah, she is a fan of Cora Jade. And I saw Cora Jade's entrance. A lot of people was talking about it. Because people was like, "Oh, she was on carpet. That's why I look like that." Like, no, the people were skateboarding. I thought she was skateboard down the ramp or something. That's why I thought she did. But yeah, she was a little wobbly. And that's because she's using like the kid display skateboards instead of an actual skateboard. So I'm pretty sure it's a gimmick that was given to her that she's not actually a skateboarder. If she is, it really hasn't been shown. Like with Darby Allin, because there's always the comparison between the two. Like you can tell he's a skateboarder because we've seen it all. Like he shows it all the damn time. Um, she's a cool girl because she's a wrestling fan who grew up as a wrestling fan. So, I'm always appreciative of that. I thought Io Shirai was going to get called up. I thought LA Knight was going to get, for someone to get called up, I thought it would be LA Knight. LA Knight is so much main roster sports entertainment as I've ever seen. So I'm surprised that he didn't get the call up. I'm very happy for Cameron Grimes for winning the title to the moon. MSK winning the titles as well. Mandy Rose retained, which I kind of figured that she was going to retain. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are tag team champions. I didn't really watch NXT 2.0, so I was like, how? What the hell? Why are they back together again? But it's NXT logic. It is what it is. Tommaso Ciampa losing, tearing up. I thought he would get called up, so I don't know if he's going to get called up to Raw or SmackDown or something. But Triple H coming out to hug him, it was very sweet. You could tell that it meant a lot to Tommaso. Um, I don't know if he's leaving the company or he's getting called up. I don't know what his contract status is either. Um, and then we had Dolph Ziggler and Braun Breaker. I was pretty surprised. I thought once I saw Braun Breaker lose that meant he was going to get called up. I mean, yeah, he still has time, but I felt as though he definitely has the look and definitely learn on the job type of situation. But I guess they're going to keep him down there for a lot longer. Because I guess they don't really have anybody, next in line really to go after the NXT title right now. But yeah, oh yeah, some questions I was gonna ask. I mean, I really didn't get a lot of questions for the AMA, so it's not gonna really be a long thing. Clark Street Wrestling Podcast has asked, who will dethrone the tribal chief? Um, I'm hoping that they're not going to wait until WrestleMania to have him be dethroned. Because I don't, because the thinking is him versus The Rock, and it will make zero sense for The Rock to win. Especially unless he wins at Royal Rumble and then, Roman Reigns wins it back at WrestleMania. But I really I don't see it at all of The Rock winning the title at WrestleMania. I think him versus the Roman Reigns really don't need a title. I mean, that match is big enough as is. I feel as though the way they could book it is Roman Reigns losing the titles, and then going from there about him being the head of the table. You need to feed his family, stuff like that, and then you could bring in The Rock to kind of be like, hey, you're not at the head of the table. I'm at the head of the table. I'm The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, blah 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 type of situation. Um, who I think would dethrone him? I think it would be perfect for Seth Rollins to come back and, you know, even though Roman Reigns defeated him with the Shield gimmick and stuff like that, but for Seth Rollins to say, "Look, you may have beaten me, but I got into your head," and Seth Rollins dethrone Roman Reigns. Um, there would have been a perfect opportunity for Brock Lesnar to dethrone Roman Reigns, but I don't know if Brock is going to stay around until SummerSlam or not. Um, who else? It was another person I was thinking of. Like they could have do Bobby Lashley to dethrone him as well. That would be if they had kept him as Hurt Business Bobby Lashley, that would have been a perfect feud between those two of the almighty Bobby Lashley versus the head of the tribal chief Roman Reigns. That would be very interesting. I really don't see Cody doing it. And I'm very sure since I'm saying that, that's probably what's going to happen. But I feel as though it could be Seth Rollins. It could be Bobby Lashley. I don't think it would be Lesnar now, since the perfect opportunity was for that to happen at WrestleMania. But I think it would be cool if it was Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins could do a lot more with the titles. He could just pretty much turn to like a Joker, crazy ass Seth Rollins from there. Um and then something, shout out to Jofo in the ring. Something a question that they had posed, but they had posed it to all of Twitter, about Vince versus Tony, about how Vince McMahon takes the business very seriously and Tony doesn't. Um, Like, I kinda agree with that sentiment. Vince McMahon is able to, snap into business decisions a lot more quickly. Like, I feel like Vince McMahon will tell you what to do. Like, he will tell you, this is your gimmick, this is what you're gonna do tonight. You're losing this match, blah, blah, blah." I feel like Tony Khan might be that person who asks, put the question mark, like, "This is the gimmick you're gonna be. Are you okay with that? We're going to have you, work this match. What, you don't like the finish? Well, don't be mad. We could possibly change it up and stuff like that." It kind of like led it to, because of what happened with MJF. MJF and Tony Khan kind of had like a bit of a disagreement because MJF went on to he did an interview without getting it cleared by Tony Khan. I feel like something like that probably wouldn't happen with Vince McMahon, because Vince McMahon is like very more assertive, I guess I should say, than Tony Khan. Tony Khan, like I said, is fan first, businessman second, and Vince McMahon is just very business. And like I said, it's from the backgrounds. Vince McMahon came into the business, with a business mindset of taking WWE and creating, taking over the territories and creating a brand with it. Whereas though Tony Khan kind of came into this as a fan, basically doing a lot of the dream matches and stuff like that, and is more willing to compromise than Vince McMahon, which makes Vince McMahon a better businessman, because if something goes wrong, as we've seen, Vince McMahon has no problem of switching it to his vision, letting people go, you know, giving people a push because that's what he feels what works in his vision. Whereas though Tony Khan listens more to the fans, listens more to wrestlers and stuff like that, which can work, but it can be, as we've seen with WCW, it can lead to disaster. Eric Bischoff let Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash have creative control. And we've seen where that went, because after a while, people want to be on top. Not a lot of people are willing to, take a step back and let someone else shine. Um, so I say right now, it's working for Tony Khan, because like we don't know exactly what happens backstage, with AEW. So he could be very stern backstage, but it's just what's presented to us. Different situation. Um, like it works right now because it's very fan friendly, I guess is the word I can use, where he is more for the fans, than Vince McMahon is. Vince McMahon is here's the product. I don't care if you enjoy it or not. You're going to tune in anyway, type of situation. Whereas though Tony Khan's like, I want to put out the best dream matches, the best dynamite, the best pay-per-views, stuff like that. And whoever is most popular is who is going to, continue to be seen. With that type of thinking, though, you're not thinking of a booker, whereas though there are people who aren't popular with the fans because the fans don't know them, like Brock Anderson, Lee Moriarty, who else? People like to use the example of Brian Cage. I mean, Brian Cage had his time, and it really didn't go over with the fans. But you can always repackage people and represent them, as we've seen plenty of times, in WWE and in AEW, where someone gets repackaged and it works perfectly. Um, but yeah, I'm enjoying both shows. This is a very exciting time as a wrestling fan. I mean, you got Ring of Honor, you have Impact. I didn't watch Impact, so I don't really know what's going on over there. Um, you have MLW, you have, New Japan. It's just so much going on right now as a wrestling fan. Like, you really should not be upset. Like, if you're upset about something, just watch something else. It's too much wrestling to really get upset about something. Disappointed, yes. Because I'm disappointed as far as certain booking of some people, but not to the point like my whole weekend is ruined because of something that happened. Um, but yeah, I'm enjoying WWE. I'm enjoying AEW. It's been a crazy time in wrestling. Um, I can't wait to see more of I can't wait to see more of the what's it called? The Blackpool Combat Club. Especially with Yuta winning the title in Ring of Honor. Very happy for him. I'm very happy of his booking. And he went from, as far as being like there with the best friends to now he's getting cheered, especially his match between him and Brian Danielson, getting cheered and chants, and he was being cheered more than Brian Danielson, which is a beautiful thing to see in wrestling where, someone up and coming get their time to shine. Can't wait. Dynamite comes to Philly. I feel like they're gonna do something with him when he gets to Philly because that's what they do. They love doing the hometown stuff, and I can't wait to see what they're gonna do. That's probably when he's gonna join the Blackpool Combat Club. That's probably when they're gonna do it. Um, but yeah, overall this weekend with the Hall of Fame, the Ring of Honor, NXT Deliver, some WrestleMania, a little bit of Raw after Mania as well. It's a very exciting time. And now we have, Samoa Joe coming tomorrow. I think the Young Bucks versus FTR is on Dynamite as well. So we just hit April and so much has happened in the past 3 months in wrestling. I can't imagine what's going to happen, come down the couple of months. We're gearing towards Double or Nothing in Vegas for AEW, working with WrestleMania Backlash with WWE, the start of this new Ring of Honor as well. I'm hoping that they get a TV deal or something like that. Get to appear, more eyes and stuff. And with all this excitement because of AEW and the indies, like it's really bringing up a lot of other indie shows and it's getting people to watch it and stuff like that. But it's a very, very good time as a wrestling fan. But that's it for this special episode of the Russell Bread podcast, episode 146. 3 years of the podcast. WrestleMania weekend, birthday is this weekend as well. It's been an amazing 3 years, and I can't wait to see what the next couple of years is coming. I'm doing a lot more with the YouTube channel. Now I'm doing a lot more as far as with social media and stuff like that as well. I need to still work on TikTok, but we're taking things one step at a time. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at JDC137. That's JAYDEE, the letter C, 137. You can also find the podcast on Twitter at WrestleBread. Find the links in the profiles for Instagram, Facebook, this YouTube channel, TikTok as well. New episodes normally come out every Monday, but because of WrestleMania season, the episodes were coming out Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, click the notification bell so you can find out when new episodes come out. The podcast episodes normally come out as audio form, but we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, and wherever else you listen to podcasts as well. I do have a weekly YouTube series called A Slice from Jaydee, where I talk more about whatever is the big topic of wrestling for that week, and I give my opinion on it. A lot of times it's been AEW based stuff because it comes out after Dynamite. But yeah, I normally talk about, different things that's going on with wrestling. If you want me to talk about a certain topic, definitely, shoot me a tweet or the podcast a tweet as well and let me know if there's certain topics you want me to cover. Um, I started to do reactions to videos. I actually, for 316 Day, I actually recorded me reacting to the top stunners. Of course, it got blocked by WWE. So I'm working on that as far as and I think I know what I did wrong. I think it's because I just did the whole video and not like chop it up like I've seen other people do. So definitely be on the lookout for me reacting to things. I have the idea of reacting to matches I never seen before. And I'm going to be working on that. So if there's matches that you want me to check out, definitely let me know. I've been kind of a bit of a background with me. I've been a WWE fan for a very long time. During the I was like in the bubble of WWE too. So I missed a lot of WCW. I missed a lot of ECW. Um, like maybe 2015, 2016ish is where I started to like look more into the indies. With the creation of AEW, I've gotten a lot more involved with wrestlers outside of WWE and indies and stuff like that. So yeah, I will be checking out a lot of matches that I've never seen before, companies that I never seen before as well. So be sure to check that out too. Thank you to everyone who's listening. Thank you so much, Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. Congrats again. Great show and happy early birthday. Thank you. Um, I make no secret about my birthday. The reason why I love WrestleMania so much is because it coincides with my birthday. I am the age of WrestleMania, so I'll be turning 38 this year. So I always the WrestleMania season is always, a favorite of mine. Even though the Royal Rumble is my favorite pay-per-view, but I always love WrestleMania season. It feels like second Christmas to me because WrestleMania, now it's the podcast anniversary, birthday, all the craziness, stuff like that of Raw after Mania and stuff. So yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to follow me on all the socials, follow the podcast on all the socials as well. Thank you for the past 3 years and for your support. And I hope I get your support for many years to come. And until next time, guys, peace.